I didn't get the clip pulled up in time, but I will show it to the viewers. I don't know if you caught it. Micah Parsons was on his podcast.
I don't know who CJ Gardner think he is, bro. I mean, we've been dealing with this cat for a while. I mean, we just got to be a little bit real right here. Like, I think Derek Carr has validated himself way before CJ has ever done.
Basically roasting CJ Gardner-Johnson for getting excited at halftime and talking trash about the Saints in the locker room. Obviously, there was a recording that leaked, and CJ Gardner-Johnson was caught saying, "We're playing against Derek Carr. This should be easy," or something equivalent to that. And then Micah Parsons roasted CJ Gardner-Johnson, basically saying that Derek Carr has way more credibility than CJ Gardner-Johnson. Now, the vibe and everything that Micah is saying, in my opinion, is really off base. But I don't know if you saw this. What did you think about this story about the Cowboys who are struggling right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a accumulation of a ranting tour that Micah Parsons is going on, because I definitely seen the clip of him calling out his teammates after the game, saying that we got to look in the mirror and all that. And clearly he does this podcast weekly. And that's a new norm now with the athletes doing the podcast during the season, which I'm not a fan of, because I think you should be locked in. You know, there was a time and place where, you know, even a guy like LeBron James, you know, when the season kicks off, I'm off social media. But these new guys like Draymond Green, like Micah Parsons, they want to go on a podcast and they want to try to, you know, balance football and all that. I'm just not a fan of that. I don't think it's good. But how about Micah Parsons? Do me a favor. How about you go on your podcast and talk about the fact that you had 1 sack this year?
Hey, sorry for interrupting myself, but one quick reminder before you forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you can be here every single time I post. It's the free way you guys can support the channel. We're trying to build something special here very early on in the stages here. We only have 10,000 subscribers. We're trying to get 20,000 subscribers. The only way that's possible is if you guys support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, turn on notifications.
Okay, go tell that on the podcast, buddy. All right. This is the thing I don't like, is that, you know, the Cowboys have clear issues. They can't stop the run and they can't run the football, right? And clearly there's a lot of issues there. This guy went MIA in the playoffs last year, Micah Parsons, okay? The defense in general went MIA. Dan Quinn was a scapegoat, okay? And instead of guys like Micah Parsons, who is supposed to be the leader of that side of the ball, he's going to be the highest paid player soon on that side of the ball. Instead of him take ownership, he rather goes on his podcast, and create beefs around the league and talk about other guys instead of not bringing up the fact that he has 1 sack this year. He has to be better. The team has to be better. Clearly, they have issues that stem beyond coordination. Clearly, Jerry Jones was on a clear hibernation in the summertime when it was due for him to start paying guys. He finally paid guys. And clearly he didn't make no acquisitions that could have benefited the team. The Cowboys are a disaster waiting to happen, and it's going to come, you know, where we are going to be disappointed because they got smoked in the playoffs or they didn't make the playoffs outright.
I'm starting to worry about them this year, especially with this kind of stuff going on already. And I'm 100% with you on Micah Parsons' comments here. And I side with CJ wholeheartedly. He's a fiery player in the locker room playing against his old team. Yeah, say something like that. Fire up your defense. Fire up your guys around you, especially when you're one of the vocal leaders of your own squad, which CJ Gardner-Johnson is. He's had 2 stints with the Eagles now. They brought him back and made him a captain. So, and Mike even said in the clip, like, no one knows who you are, bro. Like, everyone knows who Derek Carr is and all this stuff. And, like, CJ responded in his own clip. He posted his own video, and he just showed the wall of jerseys, like Breece Hall, freaking George Kittle, like all the guys he's jersey swapped with and the nice messages that they wrote. And then CJ was like, hey, Micah, I'll swap with you next time we play, and we'll bury the hatchet. And I was like, this is like the best thing I've ever seen CJ Gardner-Johnson do in his entire life. That man is a menace, and he goes the high road. What is going on with this world right now? I have no idea. But speaking of someone who's probably going to take the high road before we end this here and to stay on the Cowboys, Malik Neighbors is probably going to take the high road this weekend. Him and Trayvon Diggs were going back and forth on Twitter as well. Malik Neighbors was asked about it, and he said, I don't really want to talk about it right now. You know what that means? We'll talk about it after the game. And I think Malik Neighbors is going to go off against the Cowboys. This guy's a special talent. You could see it
Yeah.
already. And Trayvon Diggs is not able to handle him one-on-one. They're going to have safety help if they know what's good for them. But Malik Neighbors is going to go off. It's actually Thursday.
Yeah.
It's Thursday. It's in a couple days.
And if they won the football with Devin Singletary, clearly the formula, the blueprint to beat the Cowboys is there. You take up the time of possession, you soak it up. They don't know how to play with a lead. They don't know how to play coming back. So you got to build that lead. You got to keep Dak Prescott on the bench. You got to run the ball, and then you will open up. You'll pull the defense in, and then you will open up some big plays for your wide receiver, Malik Neighbors. Remember, Trayvon Diggs, he kind of slighted, I believe it was Chris Olave a couple weeks ago when they asked about Chris Olave. You know, he kind of like slighted him. You feel me? And guess what? He got torched in that game by Chris Olave. I bet you know who that is now. Malik Neighbors probably has that same ambition. So look out.
Yeah, man. The best thing to do when you're struggling and trying to figure things out is to shut up and try and figure those things out. And I'm all like, I know that a lot of people dislike the podcast thing, and you just said you dislike the podcast thing. I dislike it too when it's like this, where he's just getting in front of a microphone and just saying whatever comes to his freaking mind. I'm for it if he's talking about the Cowboys. It's like a behind the scenes almost for fans to enjoy, and he has a producer, an editor, a writer. Everyone's doing it for him. He just shows box for an hour and reads the script pretty much. That's cool. That's fun. That gives you something. I know he wants to do media after, and all the listeners heard the take. It was he doesn't even know how to talk in the first place to start with. Like, he's struggling to get this take out in the first place. So he does need the practice if he wants to do media in the post career. But why don't we just keep it about the Cowboys for now? That'd probably
that's the new age athlete, the modern day athlete. You know, a lot of people are doing it. More athletes are doing it. And Micah Parsons is a very vocal type of individual.
Yes.
And I just hope he's saying the right things in the locker room, which is different from what I've seen this week where he was calling out his plays.
And we'll see, because I never thought that him and Mike Zimmer were going to gel too well. I thought they might butt heads a little bit.
He's old school. He's an old school guy. You don't do this talking on a podcast type thing. It's an old school guy, man.
We'll definitely see. Well, I appreciate you, Leel, for coming on and talking with me for about 50 minutes here. It's a good chunk of the podcast. We're gonna be posting clips from this, y'all. Make sure you guys go check out his podcast. I know I've said it. The link is in the description. It's not 99 Pod. Go ahead and plug the podcast, Leel, and anything else, any other projects you want to throw out there to the people. I will include this part in every single clip up. So this is gonna get seen maybe on 5 or 6 videos.
Definitely. I appreciate you having me. Always good talking some sports, especially football. Make sure you tune into It's Not 1999 Anymore, aka 99 Pod. You can watch the videos on my YouTube channel, Real Lil TV. Okay, we be pushing out content on a regular basis, and the show is getting better. You know, I'm looking forward to doing more shows, and I'm excited doing this, man. You know, my passion for sports run deep, man. I'm a sports study the game. I debated amongst my classmates in college. I almost got kicked out of my college class because I was debating some guy. I think we were talking about the college football playoff, and then the debate actually got so good that the professor stopped his lesson, and everybody was watching me and this guy debate for the rest of the period. It was wild. Okay, it just goes to show you that this is what I do.
That's why I wanted to invite you on so soon to the podcast. I'm trying to get on the people that I know bring that fire, no matter what the size of their podcast is. I don't really care. Thank you for tuning in to another NFL Mike video. Now it's time to go make more football friends, or go and compete in the Mike's Pickems Challenge, or against me in daily fantasy football challenges by joining my completely free NFL group chat, or head to fifthdown.shop and check out and see if we got your team's newest designs. Or now you can simply rep your favorite players without having to wear another team's gear, and then tag us in pictures of you wearing your Fifth Down merch for a shout out in the next episode of NFL Mike's Corner, and help us reach our goal of getting 1,000 NFL fans wearing Fifth Down. Or you can head to the next NFL Mike video by clicking it. It's on your screen. Go ahead.